The great Senate Hall of the Galactic Union was silent, a place where hundreds of alien races gathered under a roof of silver light. The Senate was known as the heart of the galaxy. Decisions made here shaped entire worlds. Millions of lives could change from the words spoken inside this hall. Today the chamber was darker than usual. The air was heavy, and a shadow of final judgment hung above the rows of alien delegates. Creatures of every shape and size filled the seats. Scaled warriors, insect-like rulers, beings of energy, and creatures of flesh, all united by one decision. At the center stood the Speaker of the Senate, a tall alien with skin like stone and eyes burning blue. His voice echoed like thunder across the hall. "The matter is closed," he said. "The species known as humanity is no more. They destroyed themselves in war. Their world is ashes. Their fleets are gone. Humanity is extinct, and their name shall be erased from history," the Senate murmured. In agreement, claws tapped on metal desks, tendrils waved in satisfaction. Some races cheered quietly. Others nodded with grim relief. To the galaxy, humanity had been a problem, a species too ambitious, too stubborn, too dangerous. The idea that humans were finally gone gave them peace, but not all were convinced. A few alien lords whispered doubt. "Humans do not die so easily," one muttered. "They were too fierce." But the speaker silenced them with a glare. The decision was made. Humanity would be forgotten. Then the silence was broken. The heavy doors of the Senate slammed open. With a sound that shook the chamber, every alien head turned, their many eyes, stalks, and sensors focused on the entrance. Shadows stretched across the floor as a figure stepped inside. It was impossible, unthinkable, but real. A human, she walked with steady steps, her boots clicking. Against the shining floor, her hair was dark and tied back, her eyes sharp and unafraid. Her face carried scars, but her stance carried pride. She wore no armor, no weapons. Only a long coat dusted with the marks of travel. The aliens froze, their voices rising in shock. "A human," one hissed. "But they are extinct. This cannot be," another whispered. "We destroyed them. She should not exist." A third trembled. Yet she was there, real, breathing, unbroken. The speaker leaned forward, his stone-like face twisting in disbelief. "Impossible," he said, his voice low and dangerous. "Who dares step into this hall, pretending to be what no longer exists?" The woman raised her head, her eyes scanning the endless sea of alien faces. She did not tremble. She did not bow. Instead, she smiled, a small, fearless smile. "Extinct?" she said, her voice calm but cutting through the hall like a blade. "I don't think so." The chamber exploded into chaos. Creatures shouted, some roared in fear, others demanded guards. Some aliens stood, pointing and shaking, calling for her capture. The entire Senate shook with confusion, but she kept walking forward. Her steps echoed, slow and heavy. Each movement was a declaration. She was not afraid, not even in the heart of her enemies. The speaker slammed his hand on the desk. The hall trembled into silence once more. "Explain yourself," he commanded. "How can you stand here when your species is ash?" The woman stopped in the center of the chamber. She looked up at the glowing banners of alien empires. She looked at the towering guards ready to strike her down, and then she raised her voice. "For all to hear, my name is Commander Ilara Kane," she said. "I am human, and I am not the last. Humanity lives." Gasps filled the chamber. Some aliens leaned forward. Others recoiled. Ilara's words were fire, and fire spread quickly. The speaker narrowed his burning eyes. "Lies," he spat. "We saw your planet burn. We watched your fleets fall. Humanity is gone. Ilara's?" Smile widened, but there was no joy in it, only defiance. "You saw what we wanted you to see," she answered. "You think you understand humans, but you don't. We don't vanish. We endure. We don't break. we rebuild. And when you declare us gone, we only come back stronger." The aliens began to murmur again, louder now. Her words touched something ancient in them, a memory of the time humans had fought against impossible odds and refused to surrender. One alien lord stood and shouted across the chamber, "If this is true, if your kind survived, then the galaxy is not safe. Humanity is a threat to us all." Ilara turned, her gaze toward him. Her eyes burned with quiet strength. "No," she said, "humanity is not your threat. Humanity is your reminder. You wanted us erased, but you cannot erase a spirit that refuses to die." The Senate erupted again, arguments clashing like storms, fear and disbelief mixing with rage. But beneath all the noise, one truth echoed in the minds of every alien present. Humanity was not gone. And if one human still stood in the Senate today, more would come tomorrow. The speaker's voice thundered again. "Seize her," he ordered. Dozens of alien guards moved forward, weapons ready. Their steps shook the chamber. Their shadows fell across Ilara, but she did not move. She stood tall in the center of the Senate, her eyes unblinking, her voice steady. "Try," she said, "and you will see why humanity was never meant to be forgotten." The guards hesitated. The entire chamber watched. Suspense filled the air like lightning before a storm. And in that silence, one thought grew inside the minds of every alien. Maybe, just maybe, the humans were not extinct after all. The Senate chamber was still shaking with chaos. Aliens shouted in 100 voices. Some demanded the humans' capture. Others demanded answers. The speaker's stone-like face twisted with fury. His blue eyes glowed as he slammed his hand against the council table. "Silence," he roared. The voices fell, leaving only the sound of Ilara Kane's breathing in the vast hall. She stood in the center, unarmed, one human against the galaxy. Yet she looked stronger than all of them, not because of weapons, not because of power, but because of the fire in her eyes. "Humanity is extinct," the speaker repeated, his voice sharp as blades. "The war destroyed you. We saw your cities burn, your fleets broken, your planet turned to dust. No one survived." Ilara tilted her head slightly, her dark hair catching the faint silver glow of the Senate lights. "That is what you believed," she said, calm but firm. "That is what you wanted to believe." The alien stirred, whispers spreading through the chamber. Some were confused, others afraid. A giant insectoid senator clicked its mandibles. "If she speaks truth, then the Senate's decision is a lie." The speaker glared at Ilara. "Explain yourself," he demanded. "If your kind still exists, then prove it." Ilara's lips curved into the smallest smile. "You want the truth," she said, her voice steady. "Then listen, because the truth is far darker, far heavier than your lies." She closed her eyes for a moment, and the chamber grew quiet. The memory of fire returned to her, and she spoke not just to the Senate, but to herself. "There was a time," she began, "when humanity stood proud among the stars. We were explorers, builders, dreamers. We wanted to reach every corner of the galaxy. We wanted to stand as equals beside all other species, but the galaxy never wanted us as equals." A wave of murmurs spread through the hall. The aliens shifted uneasily. "You feared us," Ilara continued, her voice steady. "You saw a young species climbing too fast. You saw us spread too far, too bold, too ambitious. So you turned on us. You united against us, dozens of worlds, fleets beyond number. And still, we fought you. We fought even when you thought we would fall in days." Her words carried weight. Each one painted pictures in the minds of the aliens. Images of burning ships, soldiers fighting with their last breath, children hiding underground as the stars turned red. The speaker's eyes narrowed, but he did not interrupt. "Your fleets were endless," Ilara said. "Our weapons could not match you. Our numbers could not equal you. But humanity does not measure strength in numbers alone. We fought with something else, something you never understood, something you still do not understand. Her hand curled into a fist. We fought with will, we fought with hope, we fought with the refusal to surrender. And every time you thought we had broken, we stood again. Some aliens looked uneasy, as if old memories haunted them. The war with humanity had been costly, more costly than they wanted to admit. Elara's voice grew quieter, but sharper. But even will has limits, and one day the fire reached Earth itself. The sky was torn open by your fleets. Our defenses failed, our cities burned, the oceans boiled. The air turned black. Billions died in fire and shadow. Her eyes darkened, her jaw tightened. I was there. I saw it, I heard the screams, I smelled the ash. I watched the world we called home vanish in fire. For a moment, the chamber was silent. Even the most hardened alien warriors lowered their gazes. They remembered that day. For the galaxy, it had been a victory. For humanity, it was the end. You believed Earth was gone, and with it, humanity, she said, lifting her head. You celebrated. You declared us extinct. You wrote your history without us. The speaker leaned forward, his eyes glowing brighter. And were we wrong? He asked. Elara's voice sharpened again, slicing through the silence. Yes, you were wrong, she said, because what you destroyed was not humanity. What you destroyed was only the surface. Confusion spread across the chamber. Elaborate, demanded a reptilian senator, its scales shimmering. Elara took a step forward, her boots echoing like drums. Beneath the ashes of Earth, we survived, hidden in bunkers deep underground, whole cities built beneath the rock, generations prepared for war, prepared for the day we would rise again. You destroyed what you could see, but you never found what you could not. The chamber erupted again, voices colliding like storms. Some called her a liar, others demanded proof. The speaker raised his hand, silencing them, his gaze locked on Elara. And if this is true, if humanity still breathes, why reveal yourself now? Elara's eyes narrowed, her voice dropping low. Because the galaxy needs to remember what it tried to forget. You thought the fire of humanity was gone, but the fire is alive, burning hotter than ever. You tried to erase us, and in doing so, you created something you cannot control. Eh? Deep silence fell. The aliens stared at her, their expressions a mix of doubt, fear, and anger. Then Elara reached into her coat. Slowly, carefully, she pulled out a small device, a sphere no larger than her palm. She placed it on the Senate floor, and with a soft hum, the device lit up. A hologram burst into life. Images filled the chamber. Human resistance fighters in armor, hidden fleets rising from shadow, secret colonies burning with determination, children training, soldiers marching, ships being built in hidden asteroid bases. The aliens gasped. The evidence was undeniable. Humanity had not died. Humanity had endured. The speaker's face hardened, but even he could not hide the flicker of doubt in his burning eyes. Elara's voice cut through the stunned silence. This is the truth you tried to bury, she said. We are not extinct. We are waiting, watching, preparing, and when the day comes, the galaxy will see what it means to declare war on humanity. Her words hung in the air like thunder. The Senate chamber trembled, not from sound, but from the weight of realization. Humanity was not gone. Humanity was coming back. The hologram still glowed in the center of the Senate chamber, casting blue and red lights across the alien faces. Human fleets hidden in shadows, soldiers training, colonies alive and burning with hope. The vision shook the Senate to its core. Some aliens leaned forward in shock, their eyes wide. Others pulled back in fear, their bodies trembling. A few slammed their hands or claws against their desks, demanding order. The hall was no longer united. It was a storm of chaos. She lies, roared a tusked warrior from the Iron Blood clans. Humans cannot survive such destruction. This is a trick, a shadow play. But an insectoid senator, its antennae twitching nervously, shook. Its head. No, I can sense truth in her words. The humans always had hidden claws, always had secret fire. The speaker slammed his stone fist on the desk, the sound echoing like thunder. Enough, he commanded. This chamber will have silence. The voices fell, but the tension did not. It crawled through the room like a living creature, wrapping its coils around every senator, whispering doubt, whispering fear. One by one, alien leaders began to rise. Each voice carried into the hall. Sharp, loud, and heavy, a scaled senator with golden eyes hissed, "If humans still breathe, then we must crush them now, before they spread again." A creature of light, shimmered like fire. "No, if we failed to destroy them once, then striking them again will cost us everything. Perhaps we should learn from them." Gasps filled the chamber. The idea of learning from humans was unthinkable, and yet it was spoken. Another alien, tall and armored, pointed a long blade-like finger at Alara. "This is why humanity is dangerous. Even dead, they divide us. Even gone, they weaken us." The Senate was no longer one voice. It was many voices tearing at each other. Some feared humanity's return. Others admired it. A few even hoped to ally with it. Alara stood in the middle of the storm, silent, still. Her eyes scanned the chaos, watching carefully, measuring the cracks in the chamber like a hunter measuring the weakness of prey. Suddenly, a booming voice cut through the noise. A massive figure rose from his seat. His armor was black steel, scarred from countless battles. His horns curled like blades, and his eyes burned with blood-red fire. This was General Korath, warlord of the Vakar Dominion. He had fought in the final war against Earth. He had seen the fall of humanity with his own eyes. "You dare," Korath roared, his voice shaking the hall. "You dare stand here. Human, after the rivers of blood your kind spilled, I watched my fleets burn because of you. I watched your soldiers fight like demons. Refusing to die, you are not a survivor. You are a ghost, and ghosts must be destroyed." He pointed his massive clawed hand at her. "Prove yourself," he growled. "Prove you are more than a shadow of the past. Face me. Face my strength. If you live, then perhaps your words have meaning. If you die, then humanity is truly extinct." The chamber exploded again, voices rising. Some cheered for the challenge. Others demanded restraint. But Alara only tilted her head, her voice calm, steady, cutting like a knife through the chaos. "You want proof," she said. "Then you shall have it." The Senate froze. "Do you think strength is measured by claws, by muscle, by size?" Alara asked, her voice sharp but steady. "Do you think? War is won by numbers. Humanity fought you when we had none of those. And still you feared us." She stepped closer, her boots ringing on the floor. "I will not fight you with weapons. I will not fight you with power. I will fight you with what makes us human. And if you cannot see it, then you will lose before we even begin." Gasps echoed. Some aliens whispered in awe. Others laughed at her words. To challenge the mighty Korath without weapons, without armor, was madness. But the speaker's burning eyes locked on her, his voice low. "Then let the trial of survival decide." The hall erupted in shouts. The trial was an ancient Senate law. A combat arena where disputes of honor and truth were settled. Few survived it. General Korath's mouth twisted into a grin, his sharp teeth glinting. "Yes," he growled, "the trial will end this farce. We will see if humans are truly alive, or if this is nothing but dust and shadow." The Senate guards slammed their weapons on the floor in agreement. The decision was final. The trial would begin. Alara stood tall, her face calm, her voice steady. "Very well," she said. "I accept." Speaker rose, towering over the chamber. His stone-like skin glowed faintly with the power of his position. "It is decided," he thundered. "At dawn, the human will face the trial of survival. If she lives, her words shall be heard. If she dies, her species will be erased forever. The chamber shook with the sound of alien voices. Some cheered, some cursed, some remained silent. But all eyes were fixed on the lone human woman standing in their midst. As the chaos raged, Ilara stood still, her eyes scanning the Senate. She could see their fear, their anger, their doubt. She had done what she came to do. She had planted a seed of suspicion, a seed of division. The aliens no longer agreed. Their unity was broken. Humanity had returned, not with fleets or fire, but with a single woman who dared to walk into their heart and speak. And tomorrow, the galaxy would watch as one human faced the trial of survival. The Senate chamber emptied into silence as the decision of the trial spread across the galaxy. Messengers carried the news faster than light, and by dawn, every world knew a human was alive, and she would face the trial of survival. The next day, the Senate arena roared with sound. A colossal structure built into the heart of the galactic capital, carved from black stone and glowing with alien technology. It was older than empires, older than most of the races present. Here champions had fought, bled, and died for honor and truth. The seats overflowed with alien spectators, senators, soldiers, merchants, and spies from across the galaxy. All wanted to see the last human fall. All wanted proof that their fears were lies. Some came for blood, others for answers, but none came without curiosity. The floor of the arena was a vast circle of shifting ground. Stone plates moved like waves. Pits opened and closed. Walls rose and fell. The arena was alive, changing every moment, designed to test not only strength but wit. Above it all, the speaker's voice thundered. Today, truth shall be tested. The trial of survival shall decide if humanity is truly gone, or if this woman speaks truth. If she survives, her words shall be heard. If she dies, then humanity shall be erased from history forever. The crowd cheered. The sound rolled like thunder. The gates at the arena floor opened, and Ilara Kane stepped inside. Her boots crunched against the black stone. The light of alien suns shone. On her scarred face, she wore no armor, carried no blade, no gun. Her only weapon was her mind. Whispers spread across the crowd. She carries nothing. One alien gasped. She will die in moments. But Ilara walked calmly to the center, her eyes steady, her posture unbroken. She did not flinch. She did not bow. Her presence alone carried weight. The speaker's voice boomed again. The human faces 3 champions, each from a race that fought her kind. Each sworn to destroy her. If she falls to even one, her trial ends in death. A gate opened, and the ground shook as the first champion entered. A monstrous beast of muscle and scale, standing 3 times taller than Ilara. Its arms were like tree trunks, its jaws filled with rows of teeth that dripped venom. Chains rattled across its body, but the chains broke easily as it roared. The crowd screamed in delight. The beast of Tharkol had never lost. It had crushed armored warriors in seconds. How could one human without weapons survive? Ilara did not move. She studied it, her eyes scanning the ground, the walls, the shifting plates of the arena. She was not looking at the beast. She was looking at the battlefield. The beast charged. Its massive steps shook the ground. Its jaws opened to tear her apart. Ilara waited until the last second, then stepped aside. The beast crashed into a rising wall, its own momentum slamming it face first into stone. The crowd gasped. Ilara moved again, leading the beast toward a pit that opened at her side. She darted left at the last moment. The beast leapt, but the ground shifted, the plate slid, and it fell into the pit. The arena sealed the opening. Locking the monster inside, the crowd erupted in shock. A human had outsmarted the beast of Tharkol without a single strike. Ilara lifted her chin. "Strength is nothing without control," she said. Her voice echoed across the chamber. Another gate opened, and the second champion emerged, a sleek figure covered in silver armor. 4 arms carried 4 glowing blades. Each step was precise, each movement like water. This was a warrior of Serak, trained from birth to kill. The crowd roared louder. For many, this was the true test. The blades of Serak had killed hundreds, and no amount of cunning could stop him. Ilara narrowed her eyes, watching. The warrior circled her like a predator. His blades spun in a deadly dance. He attacked in a blur. Strikes came from every side. The crowd leaned forward, certain she would fall. But Ilara moved differently. She did not match his speed. She used his rhythm against him. Each step she took forced him to swing wider. Each feint pulled him further off balance, and the arena itself shifted. Walls rose and fell. The ground split. Ilara lured him toward a rising platform. At the last second, she leapt aside. The warrior landed on the plate as it shot upward. The crowd gasped as the warrior lost balance. His blades scraped stone, sparks flying. In that moment, Ilara grabbed a piece of broken chain left from the first beast and swung it across his legs. He fell, crashing into the pit below. The crowd screamed, some in awe, some in fury. Ilara had beaten the blades of Serak, not with power, but with wit. She stood tall, her chest heaving. "Speed means nothing if you cannot adapt," she said. Arena trembled as the final gate opened. This was no beast, no assassin, but a warlord. The massive figure of General Korath himself stepped into the arena. His black armor glinted under the alien suns. His horns curled like blades. His claws carried weapons of burning plasma. The crowd went silent. Every alien leaned forward. This was the true test. If she survived this, no one could deny humanity. Ilara's eyes locked on Korath. He had led the war against her kind. He had stood on the ashes of Earth. He was the symbol of everything humanity had suffered. "You will die here," Korath growled, his voice low. "And your kind will be forgotten forever," Ilara raised her chin, her voice calm. "Or I will live, and your kind will remember us forever." The battle began. Korath charged like a storm. His claws slashed. His plasma burned. Ilara barely dodged. The heat scorched her coat. Sparks seared her skin. The crowd roared, but Ilara never tried to overpower him. She could not. Instead, she moved, always moving, using the shifting arena, letting the ground fight for her. Korath struck walls, shattered stone, cracked the ground with his blows. His rage made him stronger, but also blind. Ilara led him further into the maze of rising platforms, pits and traps. At one point, his plasma claw cut her arm. Blood splattered. Across the black stone, the crowd screamed, sensing the end, but Ilara did not stop. She used the pain to focus, to sharpen. Finally, as Korath lunged with full force, Ilara dove aside. The warlord slammed into a rising wall. His armor cracked, his weapon sputtered. Ilara stood before him, breathing hard, blood dripping, but her eyes steady. She spoke not just to him, but to the entire galaxy watching. "This is humanity," she said, her voice strong. "We fall, we bleed, we break, but we do not surrender. We endure, we adapt, and we rise again." The crowd exploded. Some cheered. Others screamed in denial, but none could deny what they had seen. The arena still shook with the echo of Ilara's victory. The dust of shattered stone hung in the air like smoke after battle. General Korath, the warlord of the Vaykar Dominion, lay on one knee, his armor cracked, his weapon silent, his massive frame trembled. His breath came heavy. For the first time in centuries, the unstoppable warrior had been defeated. Ilara Kane stood in the center of the shifting arena floor. Her arm was bleeding, her body bruised, but her eyes burned bright. She did not raise her hands in triumph. She did not scream her victory. She only stood tall, calm, unbroken, and in that silence, Her presence carried more power than any roar could have. Above them, the Speaker of the Senate rose, his stone-like body towering. His burning eyes scanned the scene. For a long moment, he said nothing. The entire galaxy seemed to hold its breath. Then his voice thundered, shaking the walls. "The human has survived the trial of survival," he declared. "By ancient law, her words must be heard." The crowd erupted into chaos. Some screamed in anger, some shouted in disbelief, and others cheered in awe. The arena roared with a storm of voices, louder than any battle. Hours later, the Senate reconvened in the great hall. The chamber was a storm, louder than before. Alien voices clashed like blades. Senators shouted over one another. The calm order of the chamber was gone, replaced by fear and fury. "She tricked us," one reptilian senator shouted, its golden scales flaring. "It was luck, nothing more." "She cannot represent her kind." "Luck," an insectoid clicked. "Luck does not defeat the beast of Tharkol, nor the blades of Serac, nor General Korath. That was not luck. That was human. A being of energy pulsed with light, its voice vibrating. We must not repeat the mistake of the past. We thought them gone, and yet they return. What if there are more? What if humanity waits in shadow, growing stronger?" Fear spread like wildfire. Every senator thought of the hologram she had shown. The hidden colonies, the secret fleets, humanity preparing in silence. General Korath, still limping from the arena, slammed his fist on the desk. His voice was low and heavy. "I faced her. With my own claws," he growled. "I felt her strength, her fire, her refusal to fall. If she is not proof of her kind, then nothing is. Humanity endures." The chamber trembled with the weight of his words. For the first time, the warlord, who had once sworn to erase humanity, admitted their survival. The speaker raised his hand, commanding silence. His voice boomed. "We stand divided. Some believe the human must be destroyed. Others believe she must be heard. But know this, senators, humanity's shadow has returned, and it will not vanish." Again, when Alara was brought into the chamber, all eyes locked on her, some with hatred, others with curiosity, a few with silent respect. She walked slowly, her wounds still fresh, her coat stained with blood, yet her steps were steady, and her gaze sharp. The speaker gestured. "By law, you may speak. Say what you came to say." "Human." Alara stepped forward into the center of the chamber. She did not bow. She did not hesitate. Her voice carried clearly, echoing across the hall. "You tried to erase us," she said. "You burned our world. You slaughtered our people. You wrote us out of history, but you failed." The hall stirred, whispers rose, but she continued, "Humanity is not gone. We endured. Hidden beneath the ashes, hidden among the stars, we rebuilt in silence. We trained our children not for peace, but for survival. You thought us extinct. But extinction is not what humans do." Her eyes swept across the chamber, locking on every senator. "You fear us, and you should, not because we seek revenge, not because we seek war, but because you know what we are. We are the species that never surrenders. We are the spark that never dies. We are the fire that cannot be put out." The chamber shook, not from sound, but from the weight of her words. The Senate erupted again, voices colliding like storms. "She must be killed before her kind rises again," shouted one delegate. "No, if we strike again, we may awaken the very war we fear," answered another. "She speaks truth. Humanity has returned," whispered a third, its voice filled with awe. The speaker's voice cut through the noise. "Order," he demanded. "This chamber will not descend into chaos. We must decide." But deep inside, the decision was already made. The Senate was no longer one body. It was fractured, splintered between those who wanted humanity destroyed once and for all, and those who saw value in letting them live. Whispers grew in corners of the chamber, whispers of fear, whispers of secret alliances, whispers of war. As the chamber boiled with debate, a shadow moved among the high balconies. A figure cloaked in darkness raised a weapon. Its aim locked on Alara's heart. The shot fired. A beam of green energy cut through the air. The chamber gasped, but Alara moved. The beam grazed her side, burning through her coat. Pain flared, but she did not fall. She turned sharply, her eyes locking onto the assassin. The guards leapt into motion, but Alara raised her voice, steady even in pain. "You see," she said, "even now you try to kill me. Even now you fear what I represent, but you cannot kill an idea. You cannot kill humanity." The assassin was dragged away, struggling. The chamber roared in confusion. Some claimed it was a rogue act. Others whispered it was ordered by fearful senators. The cracks in the Senate widened further. The speaker leaned forward, his glowing eyes fixed on Alara. "You have survived trial. You have survived treachery, but survival alone is not enough. Tell us, human, what does your kind want?" The chamber grew silent, every ear strained for her answer. Alara raised her chin, her voice sharp. "We want nothing from you, not your pity, not your forgiveness, not your protection. Humanity does not beg. Humanity does not kneel. All we want is what you tried to take, our right to exist, our right to rise." Her words struck like thunder. The chamber shook with voices once more, some furious, some fearful, some strangely inspired. For even among alien hearts, her defiance lit sparks. The Senate chamber still shook with chaos. Voices clashed like storms. Some demanded humanity's destruction. Others demanded restraint. Many simply sat in stunned silence, unable to decide, unable to comprehend. At the center, Alara Kane stood calm, her coat torn, her body bloodied, but her voice had burned itself into every ear. She had survived the trial of survival. She had faced assassins and still stood. But now she knew words alone were not enough. The galaxy needed proof. The galaxy needed truth. The speaker's stone-like body leaned forward, his burning eyes fixed on her. His voice thundered. "You have spoken of survivors. You have spoken of hidden strength. You have shown us fragments. But fragments are not enough. If humanity truly lives, prove it. Show us here and now what cannot be denied." The chamber grew silent. The sound of 1,000 alien races breathing in unison filled the air. The question hung heavy, and every senator leaned forward, waiting, doubting, fearing. Alara closed her eyes for a moment. Her heartbeat slowed, her breaths grew deep, in her mind. She saw the faces of those waiting in the shadows. The children born in bunkers, the soldiers training in silence, the ships being built in hidden asteroids. All of them had given her this moment. All of them had trusted her. When she opened her eyes, her voice was steady, sharper than before. "You want truth," she said. "Then truth is what I will give you." She reached into her coat once more. Her hand closed around a second device, not the small sphere she had shown before, but something larger, heavier. The Senate guards tensed, weapons raised, but Alara only pressed a switch. The device lit up, and with a hum, the chamber darkened. The banners of alien empires faded, the torches dimmed, only the hologram remained. And this time, it was not fragments, it was a revelation. The hologram burst open, filling the chamber with light. The first images showed vast underground cities beneath the ashes of Earth. Towers of steel carved deep into stone, glowing with life. Children running in schools built beneath ruined mountains. Soldiers drilling in endless formations. Farmers growing food under artificial suns. Gasps filled the chamber. Some senators stood in disbelief. Others whispered in horror. Impossible. One muttered, "We searched, we burned. There was nothing left." Alara's voice cut through them. "You searched the surface. You burned the sky, you never looked deeper. And there, humanity endured. We survived in silence. We rebuilt in secret. We turned our ruins into fortresses. The chamber trembled. With voices, the speaker's eyes narrowed, but he did not speak, not yet. The hologram shifted. Now it showed space, a hidden asteroid belt lit with the glow of forges, shipyards carved inside hollow worlds, hundreds of ships being built in silence, dark metal glinting under artificial light. The crowd gasped louder. Some shouted denial. Illusions, one senator screamed. Tricks, but others whispered in dread. Their eyes saw too much detail, too much truth, the shape of the ships, the banners carved into their hulls, the burning insignia of humanity. You thought our fleets were ash, Elara said. You thought our skies were empty, but we have been building. Not vast armies, no. We cannot match your numbers, but ships. Sharp as blades, built for speed, built for war, built to strike where you least expect. You thought us gone, but the stars themselves hide our return. The hologram shifted again. This time, it showed fields of soldiers, young men and women. In armor, their faces grim, their eyes burning. They trained not in luxury, but in hunger, in hardship, in pain. Children sparred with wooden weapons. Teenagers crawled through mud. Adults marched in perfect formation. All of them carried the same fire. The chamber fell into silence. Even the most hardened senators could not deny what they saw. Ilara's voice grew stronger. You killed billions, but you could not kill our spirit. Our children were born with fire in their lungs. Our children were raised in darkness, but taught to fight for light. They do not fear you. They do not even know what fear is, for they were born in a world where survival was the only truth. Her eyes locked on the speaker. These children are not the humans you fought before. They are harder, stronger, sharper. They are the blade forged from the ashes you left behind. The chamber erupted again, but this time not with argument, but with panic. They live, cried one senator. They are rising again, shouted another. We must destroy them now, howled a third. No, whispered a voice from the shadows. We cannot, not this time. The speaker slammed his hand down, silencing the hall, but even his voice trembled with unease. Elara raised her hand, silencing even the whispers. Her voice grew quiet, but every word cut sharper than before. You think you destroyed us, she said, but in truth, you only created us. The humanity you fought was young, reckless, unprepared. But the humanity that rises now is something else, something you cannot predict, something you cannot control. Her eyes narrowed. You wanted us extinct. Instead, you forged our rebirth. And now, every child in the colonies, every soldier in the shadows, every ship in the hidden fleets carries one truth in their heart. Humanity does not end. Humanity begins again. The chamber fell silent, utterly silent. The words echoed, heavy, and it ends. Unshakable. Then, from the shadows of the chamber, a voice broke the silence. A senator with silver eyes whispered, If this is true, then war will return. Others nodded, fear spreading. Yes, war. Humanity will not stay hidden. They will rise. They will strike. They will burn worlds again. But another voice, quieter, trembling, whispered, Or they will save us, or they will lead us. Perhaps this is not an ending, but a beginning. The Senate fractured deeper. Some demanded immediate war. Others demanded cautious peace. A few even whispered alliance. The speaker's face hardened. His burning eyes glowed brighter than ever. Enough, he thundered. This chamber will decide, but mark my words. Whether humanity comes as ally or enemy, the galaxy will never be the same again. The great Senate Hall was no longer a place of order. It was a storm. Senators screamed over one another. Some demanded war, others begged for restraint. Some whispered of alliances, others shouted of extermination. The once mighty galactic union had fractured, and at its center, stood one human commander, Ilara Kane. She had walked into the heart of the galaxy unarmed. She had faced the trial of survival and lived. She had revealed the hidden colonies, the fleets, the training of humanity's next generation. And now, the galaxy itself trembled. The Speaker of the Senate, his stone-like form towering over the chamber, raised his hand. His burning blue eyes swept the room. His voice thundered like breaking mountains. Order. There will be order. The voices fell, but the fear did not. The division could not be erased. The Speaker's voice was cold, heavy, human. He said, "You have shown us your survival. You have shown us your hidden strength. But survival is not enough. Tell this chamber, tell the galaxy. What is it you want?" Every eye turned to Ilara. Thousands of alien eyes, glowing, twitching, blinking, staring at her. The hall was silent, silent enough to hear her breath. Ilara raised her chin. Her voice rang out clear. "We want what was. Always ours," she said. "Not your pity, not your mercy, not your chains. Humanity does not beg. Humanity does not kneel. All we want is our right to exist, our right to rise, our right to stand in the galaxy without fear." The chamber stirred. Whispers grew. Some found her words dangerous. Others found them inspiring. A few, though they would never admit it aloud, found them terrifying. The Senate erupted once more. "She lies, humanity will strike again," cried a scaled senator. "She speaks truth." "Humanity has earned its place," answered a shimmering being of light. "She must be destroyed now, before her kind grows stronger," shouted a tusked warrior. "No, strike now, and we risk a war we cannot win," hissed an insectoid lord voices. Crashed like storms, the chamber was no longer one body. It was a battlefield of words, divided by fear and pride. General Korath rose slowly from his seat, his body still wounded, his armor cracked. His voice was deep and heavy. "I fought her," he said. "I felt her strength, her fire, her refusal to fall. If she is not proof of humanity, then nothing is. Humanity lives, and they will rise." The Senate gasped. For the first time, the warlord who had once sworn to erase humanity admitted their return. The Speaker's burning eyes narrowed. "And the galaxy must prepare," he said. "For whether they rise as ally or enemy, the humans will return to the stars." The guards moved to escort her away, but she raised her hand, stopping them. Her voice carried one final time through the chamber. "You fear us," she said. "And you should, not because we will strike blindly, not because we will burn without reason, but because we are what you cannot kill. You tried once, you failed. Try again, and you will fail harder." Her eyes swept across the chamber. "Mark my words, humanity is not your shadow. Humanity is your future. Whether as ally or rival, you will never forget us again." She turned, her boots ringing on the shining floor. She walked through the great doors as alien eyes followed her, some with rage, some with awe, some with the silent weight of dread. The doors slammed shut behind her, and the chamber exploded into chaos. News spread faster than light. Every world, every empire, every colony heard the same words. Humanity lives. On distant battle worlds, soldiers cursed and sharpened their weapons. On trade worlds, merchants whispered of human fleets rising. On peaceful worlds, children listened in fear to their elders. Stories of the old human wars. Some empires declared preparation for war. Others began secret messages, searching for hidden humans. A few, in the shadows, began whispering of alliances, of partnerships, of possibilities. The galaxy was no longer united. Humanity's return had shattered its fragile peace. Far from the Senate, in the cold silence of deep space, the truth waited. A hollowed-out moon drifted in darkness, its surface scarred and dead, but within, its heart burned with life. Vast hangars filled with ships, dark metal glinting, Engines humming, weapons gleamed, banners burned with the insignia of humanity. Commanders walked the decks, soldiers trained in silence. Engineers forged weapons never before seen. All of them moved with purpose. All of them carried the same fire. Above them, massive screens lit up. The image of Alara Kane appeared, a transmission. From the Senate, her voice filled the hangars, the barracks, the command decks. "I stood in the heart of the galaxy," she said, "and they declared us extinct. But I showed them the truth. I showed them you, humanity lives. Humanity endures. Humanity rises. The galaxy is divided. They fear us, and they should. For we are not the ashes they left behind. We are the fire that rises from it." The soldiers roared. Their voices thundered through the hollow moon. Humanity was ready. Humanity was waiting. But there was more deep in the void. Beyond the hidden fleet, something larger stirred. Not human, not alien, something else. A shadow older than the wars, older than the Senate, a force watching, waiting, feeding. It had seen humanity burn. It had seen them rise again. And now it stirred, hungry. In the silence of deep space, a whisper moved through the void. A whisper that reached no ears, but carried meaning nonetheless. "The humans return," it whispered. And so the cycle begins again. Back in her transport ship, leaving the Senate world behind, Alara sat in silence. The stars stretched before her, endless and cold. Her wounds ached. Her body was weak, but her heart burned with fire. She whispered to herself, words meant for no one else. "They think I came to beg for mercy," she said. "They think I came to ask for recognition. But I came for only one thing, to remind them, to remind the galaxy of who we are, to remind them that humanity never dies." She closed her eyes. And in the darkness of her mind, she saw the fleets rising, the colonies thriving, the children training. She saw the spark of humanity burning brighter than ever before, and she knew the comeback had already begun.